And we're live. All right. Your music is bad. You should feel bad. I'm not going to watch us on delay.
I actually could see how woke I was because it was on a delay.
All right. What topic? Yeah. So, all right. So first off, update, gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah, so...
we have an inside operative.
So it happened. That was an achievement. So we talked about this on the last episode. We watched the infomercial, which was hilarious. And as some people are expecting, Oklahoma, it's not really... I have a hilarious way that I want to say this, but I don't think I should. The police presence was apparently... So, again, a lot of this stuff is hard to verify, and some of it I just didn't care. It's because it's funny enough unverified. Yeah. Oh, wait, so this was Music Wars.
Oh, yeah,
because
totally.
Speculating
Hashtag
wildly.
Music Wars.
Hashtag Music Wars. So... Are you gonna play that?
No, because I also didn't load that up, even though I made a better one. But
so apparently there were 75 undercover cops there, which I totally don't believe that number, but I do believe that there were undercover cops there. So there were few things up front about being in Oklahoma, because this thing had never been in Oklahoma before. It was there was like a 9 p.m. noise curfew, which people in the group, like a lot of people didn't understand what that meant, and they thought it was like a 9 p.m. curfew. Like you had to be in your tent or something. It's like, no, you're like not supposed to have a concert. But I don't think that got very strictly enforced. And then there was, Oklahoma's notorious for their very strict drug laws, which I think was the major issue. And then I guess there was also something about, like, they were supposedly cracking down on public nudity, which, like, yeah. I'd probably be kind of thankful for that. But anyway, so the most obvious thing is, like, a fair number of people got arrested. So from the way people were talking about it in the group, it sounded like tons of people were getting busted, and from things ranging from possession to, like, some dude, shined a laser pointer at the police helicopter, which is like a federal offense or something. I don't remember. So anyway, but then later, and so the stories that was coming out on the group as this stuff was happening was that, like, everyone was getting like $20,000 bond, and then some dude got like a $75,000 bond or something. But then there was an article that came out like the day after the fest that said only 8 people got arrested. So I was like, okay, because it sounded like a ton of people got arrested. And then I also heard a report that 4 of the artists just didn't show, but I don't know which ones.
Yeah.
Like, we know POD made it though, because I watched that video, and they were super boring. And then, but then I guess one of the other things is it's really hot in Oklahoma at the end of July, and I guess like a number of people had like heat stroke and shit, because it's like you go somewhere and you do a bunch of drugs, like you're probably not prepared to be out in the heat in the first place. But then you do a bunch of substances that interfere with your body's ability to regulate its temperature. Yeah. So I guess, there were some issues with that. And just in general, like some people left early because like they didn't want to get arrested. And just in general, like it was, again, it goes back to like the hilarious stuff that goes on in this group, because it was, there was a bunch of people being like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't go because it sounds awful. And then other people being like, yeah, this was like the worst one ever, like gathering the Juggaloes is finally dead. And then there were all these other people who were like, I had tons of fun and fuck everyone who didn't go, you're not true fam. Like it's this constant weird thing about like families there for each other unconditionally, except on the following conditions. And then but then sort of like, this was actually probably my favorite thing that occurred, was somebody, so they have these seminars. So I don't think we talk too much about this, because I feel like this infomercial that we watched last episode was light on this, but previous infomercials have been pretty heavy on the fact that they have seminars. And it's like, who is going to be there that it's like, what kind of advice could they give? Yo, if you stick to the rap game, like, you might get famous and make a bunch of money. It's like, that's kind of like a throw of the dice. Anyway, so they had one with ICP, and, you know, they were talking about, like, I guess people were like, hey, you know, we really don't like it being here in Oklahoma. This isn't good. And they were basically like, yeah, but, like, no other place will book us because, like, you guys destroy everything. Like, this was literally the only company that we could find to run us porta potties because, like, they don't want to get them all back all fucked up and covered in graffiti. And the group was like, yo, why didn't they tell us that before the fest? Because then maybe we wouldn't have fucked up the porta potties. And it's like,
you have to be notified not to vandalize things because maybe.
But it's like. There's so much I could say, but I feel like our audience is intelligent enough that I don't need to say any of it. But that basically sums it up for me. Those are my comments.
Yeah. Well, and then I remember you saying there was like talk about how it has to move every year, and they're like, yeah, part of the reason it has to move is because no one will have us back.
No. That one guy was saying he's like everybody that thinks it's so bad, whatever. You just don't understand. That's the nature of a carnival. And
that's right.
And I was like, no, it's that no one wants you back. And then right. And so then there was like this weird confusion about that. And like the central tenet of your subculture is that you're outcasts. So you should be prepared for this, I would think. Like, it was so weird. But that was the most hilarious thing. Was it's like, no, that's the nature of a carnival. It's like, well, then how come it was in the same place for 7 years in a row until basically the feds told you not to come back? Like, again, hashtag music wars. This is all wild speculation and like third-hand info at best at this point.
We got the inside word. Got a man on the inside. Can't say anymore. I don't want to blow his cover. Let's see. Bob already likes your music. Did he like unlike us or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, whatever, Bob.
It's the internet. Thanks, Bob. We appreciate your support.
We do appreciate your support.
I don't even know what country he's in. Is he watching the show from Austria?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if he's back yet. They went on like Speaker Factory tour.
Nice.
Looked pretty.
All right. So our second topic. There's some things we wanted to talk about, and they now perfectly tie into an event we went to yesterday. There was here. Let me properly address what this event was. We went to the Sonos store in Soho, which I believe is a wireless, like, stereo system, basically. It's like speakers and a receiver, and it's wireless. But when they first came out, it was, I believe, the first streaming service, because their whole deal was like, you buy our speaker dealies, and then you like get all the music you want, but like it wasn't really a thing yet, and so theirs didn't catch on. Also, because they were like forcing you to buy like pick one, you know. And now they obviously were like, okay, we're not getting the streaming thing, so we just do speakers now, which makes sense because otherwise you don't think they would host an event talking about vinyl.
Because they want to sell you hardware.
Right. And I was like, isn't this counter to, but now it's like, no, you want to listen to that vinyl on our weird Wi-Fi speakers, which sounded like shit the entire time we were there, but that might have been because they were constantly playing like Slayer.
We show up.
Right.
And they're playing, and the whole thing is supposed to be about like, oh man, isn't it so awesome to listen to stuff on vinyl? And they're playing a Slayer record from the 80s.
Yeah.
And you're just like, if there was ever something I was going to use to show off the fidelity of a sound system, it would not be thrash, let alone Slayer from the 80s. It would be like solo cello,
right,
or like
Steely Dan,
full symphony orchestra, or Steely Dan.
Which is funny because I'm fairly confident now that the first time I heard Steely Dan was at a CompUSA in the Creative Labs display because they used to play Josie. There would be like 4 buttons to hit for different music samples and different speaker selections. And one of them was, I didn't even know what it was, but it was so like funky and swanky that I just thought it was both awesome and hilarious. And then like years later, I was like, oh, it's Josie. So of course it was a track from Asia that was on like the default speaker testing track. And also it was like, you were like, yeah, these speakers, pretty fucking smooth. Okay, so this was Metal Sucks and Metal Injection along with Sonos, and it was called Metal on Vinyl, and it was hosted by Alan Douches? His name's spelled Douches.
I think they call him Douchey. I think they call him Douchey.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or just Deuce.
Oh, that makes sense. Of West Side Music, which I believe is a mastering studio, although it might be mixing too.
No, yeah, it's a mastering lab.
And the frontman of Mutoid Man, Stephen Brodsky, and so it's basically a panel, but like, you know, a panel with 2 people on it.
Right.
I thought there was gonna be, I was like, it's a panel, right?
They said panel, and it was
where's the rest of the?
They said 2 people, and then additionally they said if you have questions, just shout them out. But the thing is, there wasn't a ton of time.
Right.
Like they were still, I wouldn't say mid discussion. They were nearing the end, but they could have kept going. And they were like, Frank's like, all right, guys, we're out of time. So there wasn't really any question, wasn't really a panel, but whatever. I was actually impressed because I thought, as you said, it's the lead dude from Mutoid Man, who are like the best marketed metal band in New York, and I totally thought this was going to be like a thinly veiled advertisement for their album. Like I thought it was going to be way more about. So, and when you listen to the new Mutoid Man on vinyl,
Well, yeah, didn't he say they got it on vinyl? Because like, and he was like thrilled, but it was like,
but
he should have overemphasized like the availability of said vinyl.
Well,
although there was other, I mean, a lot of things he should have overemphasized, but so like the basic, first of all, it's just the title of the event is just Metal on Vinyl. So I was kind of trying to gauge what they were actually trying to say, or what the point was, where do they stand on it? You know, what is your favorite physical music disc?
So there was a lot of ways this could have gone, and like I said, I was expecting an ad for Mutoid Man. It was instead an ad for that dude's mastering lab.
Right, and
that's
specifically
what it was.
Their analog mastering lab, and how if you want your shit on vinyl, you need to pay for the separate vinyl mastering, which is not necessarily wrong. It just it's like we'll get to it. It comes around.
He went over a lot of stuff that are good points that people forget, right? Like the fact that when you do a vinyl master, you ride the faders. Like that's a thing you do, right? And
you have to do it the old way.
And I mean, you could actually do a full automation. Like you could write the automation and then do it, whatever. But you know, no one's gonna do that. But but this was like, I actually don't even know where to begin with this thing, because I took more. I literally
you like wrote down everything you said.
I took more notes from this than I've ever taken from anything we've ever gone to, because the hits just kept coming.
Right. Well, the first thing I have written down is in quotes, how do we make vinyl sound good? And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you were here to tell us it sounded good.
It sounded good, like so.